before we run away from our responsibilities in life, whether at home, in the office, or in the church, we must really ask ourselves, what are we running away from? Are we running away from our enemies or from our inner fears? We should never flee from doing good, flee from doing evil. St. Paul tells us in Galatians chapter 5, he says, do not become weary when you are doing good, because when the time is right, you will reap the harvest. So too, when it comes to doing evil, pertinent example of evil, the sin of lust, which is one of the most powerful temptations that often we cannot resist. That's the reason why we hear a lot of sex crimes, even though the penalty is so heavy. Why? Because they cannot control. It's not a question of willpower, because it is something deep inside one's unconscious. The human spirit and even the evil spirit have taken over our faculty. We cannot resist. Before these temptations surface, we must catch it at its very early onset, because it will lead to greater misery. In the face of good, in the face of evil, we need to discern. Discernment is very important, because it's not easy to discern what is truly good and what is truly evil. Because the real problem is, today evil is presented as something good. That is what the world is telling everybody. You see how the world presents evil as something beautiful, not wrong, something enticing. And so many of us are innocently being deceived by the temptations of the world. And how do we discern? In the silence of our heart, we can discern. So long as there are a lot of movements, anger, desires, we cannot discern. That is why we never make a decision, as St. Ignatius would tell us, when we have these restless spirits. Never make a decision, because it will be either from the evil spirit or the human spirit. We have no clarity of mind. If we are reacting to a situation, it will cause us more harm. We must be totally calm. Only when the heart is calm, the Lord will speak to us. And it's important because the Lord wants us to discern our motives. Because most of the time we are doing things unconscious of our real motives in what we do. It is important for us to discern the voice of God, to purify our motives in what we do. And it is so beautiful, because it is only when we come in touch with our own feelings, then we know our true motives. But we judge ourselves also, not just from our own perspective. We must discern with the eyes, with the heart of God. It's very important how we see ourselves. Because if we see ourselves as the world sees us, it will lead us to depression. We hate ourselves. That's why many of you cannot forgive yourself. They will condemn you, but not God. God is always compassionate. God is always forgiving. So unless you see yourself with the eyes of God's love, you cannot forgive yourself. And because you cannot forgive yourself, that's why you cannot forgive others. That's why you are very harsh towards people who sin, intolerant of people's mistake, simply because you are not tolerant to yourself. You can't give what you have not got. So important, let us look into ourselves. When we look into ourselves, then God will tell us what to do. If you really want to overcome evil, overcome evil with good. Overcome darkness with light. If you are obsessed with sex, if you are tempted by lust, what must you do? Then you're going to do good. If you are focused on yourself, oh, poor me, always focus on the sin of lust, the more you focus on it, the more you are tempted. You should focus your mind on doing good, reaching out to others. And as you reach out to others, you forget your own self. You forget your own needs. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, this is the way we move forward.